Meow, this is Tonya Todd, author of 52 Love.
And we're here
to celebrate
Time with Love.
Hello, everybody. Welcome if you're new, if you're new attendees, and welcome back to our friends who are with us again.
Yes. Welcome back, everybody. And we have a guest here with us today. Welcome, Chris.
Hi, yes. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Happy September.
That's right.
Happy September indeed. So Chris is with us, and he's going to be speaking about his book, and we'll hear a little bit more about that. But you graciously, actually, I sent out a call to all the authors that come on and join us, and you were the first one who responded out of everybody. I had a bunch of people to respond, and you were the first one. And awesome. When I went and looked at your book, I was like, yes, you have to come on and join us. So thank you for being here with us today.
Yeah, it's awesome to be here. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Well, there is a lot of turmoil going on in the world right now, and we are glad that people are here to find something positive to celebrate. Mm-hmm. We are going to focus on love and graciousness and forgiveness, and just find a real safe place for us to share with one another.
And we're each going to read from our work today. I introduce me. I'm Richard May. You can probably see that on the screen. But I'm going to be reading from my book, Gale Year, which is my latest short story collection. I mainly write short stories about how men meet each other and begin, hopefully, a long-term relationship. So since it's called All Year, there's definitely a story for each month. And each story is connected to an event or holiday that month. And the September story is called Garden Party, and the holiday is Labor Day. And I'll read you a little bit from it, just a few minutes. So hopefully you won't fall asleep. The Garden Party, it's a setting in the Delta region of northern Mississippi, and it's set on what was an old plantation. And with all the bad of that. But the plantation has been inherited by the eldest son's son, and he is of mixed race since his mother was black and his father was white. And he's the owner now of the plantation and the farm. Cocktails were served at 6 p.m. on the back lawn. We were surrounded by ancient-looking willows swaying gently side to side like hoop skirts in an occasional breeze. I noticed an older woman, bent slightly with age, standing on her own in a far corner. She was pale, but with African hair and features. I couldn't imagine who she might be until Jamie Battle, who's the owner of the place, joined her and took her arm. I saw then immediately. The story Bill Barnes had been alluding to had begun to tell itself. They walked slowly toward me at the old woman's pace. Mr. Henry Williams, Jamie Battle said once they reached me, I'd like to introduce you to my grandmother, Mrs. Annabelle Watts. She smiled and extended a slender hand browned with liver spots. Pleased to meet you, Mr. Williams, she said in a soft, soothing voice, much like her grandson's. Her eyes were a warm brown, and the smile creases around them told me she'd had a happy life, or at least that she was optimistic. As I am, Mrs. Watts, I said, bowing over her hand, feeling quite the Southern gentleman. Before my lips could touch down, she withdrew her hand from mine gracefully and asked about my family, which, black or white, is what Southerners do. I explained I was from Nashville, that my parents were both living, and I had 2 sisters and a brother, all married and spread from Austin to Atlanta. It's hard, isn't it, not to be with family? I do miss my own people, she said, telling me, if I didn't already know, she was not a Barnes. Where are they, Mrs. Watts? I asked politely. Do you know Arcola? I said I didn't. It's down in Washington County, not far, really. Her voice trailed off, but I couldn't say no when my grandson invited me to live with him. I have my own house. She waited for my reaction. Of course you cherish your independence, I said. That too, she agreed, and gave me an analyzing look. Just then a black servant dressed in black livery appeared at Jamie Battle's side, and murmured something into his ear. He turned from us to his relatives gathered on the lawn beyond. "Supper's ready, everyone," he called in a loud, strong voice, different from the one he'd used since my arrival. He smiled at me. Excuse me. I wondered what that particular look meant. Maybe I'm not who you think I am. Supper was in a pale green wallpapered room with illumination sconces along the wall and a long, well-preserved oak table down its center. Jamie Battle had me sit next to his grandmother, who was on his left. Bill Barnes was on his right, a disruption of the otherwise male-female seating arrangement. That made me wonder if the cousins were more than just relatives. Maybe that's why Bill Barnes flirted with me, but didn't follow through. During a fine meal of beef bourguignon, hearty red wine, and ambrosia that reminded me of my mother's, I chatted comfortably with Mrs. Watson at a much higher volume with my neighbor on the left, one of the several cousins. Bill Barnes and Jamie Battle kept up a steady conversation in whispers, confirming my suspicions. Mrs. Watts reminded me of my own grandmother, soft-spoken but with words that had a toughness, belying their delivery. She cross-examined me with the finesse of a seasoned attorney. "Whereabouts did you say you were from?" "Nashville, ma'am." "Oh," she said, and returned her attention to her plate. After a few more bites, she asked, "And what does your daddy do?" "He runs a store, auto parts," I added. She looked at me differently on hearing that, her head back, shoulders tilted. "Do tell. My husband had a store too, groceries and sundries, whatever people needed." She looked away a moment. "He passed." "I'm so sorry," I said. 3 years ago, that's when my grandson had my house built here. Didn't want me to live alone." We both looked at Jamie Battle, and he raised his eyebrows at us. Mrs. Watts turned to me. "He's a good boy." She considered her words a moment. "You seem like a nice young man." "I hope I am." "You are," she said decisively. "Now, would you please pass me the mashed potatoes?" We went on to discuss my livelihood, living arrangements, and political views. None of my answers seemed to change her opinion that I was a nice young man, at least as far as I could tell. Thank you very much for listening. Now, we also talk about holidays, as we explained earlier. And I'm going to talk a little bit about, and I'm sorry, I have allergies. I'm going to talk about a couple. September 1st was Ginger Cat Appreciation Day. And
Meow.
meow. I had a ginger cat, and there's a picture of him when he was quite old, 15 years old. That's Charlie, and he's also very often known as Big Boy. He started out to be a big boy, but then as he got older, he became much less big. Ginger cats, here's some facts about ginger cats. They're usually male, 80% of the time. They're affectionate and very vocal. They talk a lot. And I had some great conversations with Charlie over the years. Some famous ginger cats, Garfield and Puss in Boots. The other holiday I want to talk about is National Hispanic Heritage Month. That's September. Now, I'm not Latino, but I have an awful lot of Mexican Americans in my extended family. And I live in California, so that's not unusual. I went to a 50th birthday party yesterday of one of my nephews, who is a nephew by marriage and of Mexican heritage. So I feel like I'm near Latino, but I wanted to make sure we celebrated that this month. We also have a contest each month, and here's today's. And some of you have already had a sneak preview of this, so maybe that's cheating. But anyway, school is starting or has started, and we want to know whether you had a high school romance and what you can tell us about it. And just 2 or 3 lines in the chat. Doesn't have to be It doesn't have to be full disclosure. Just tell us who the person was, maybe why they were important to you, or why, what it meant to you. And each of the four of us authors will pick our favorite answer and we'll award a prize at the end of the program. Now, my prize, keeping with Ginger Cat Appreciation Day, is a Chewy.com gift coupon. But you don't have to spend the money on cat food, especially if you don't have a cat. You can spend it on whatever kind of Chewy.com things you want to do. And now I will toss the baton to Tonya.
Thank you for that. I really appreciate that you had a mixed character in your story. Someone who is always trying to find some kind of representation. Thank you for that. Well, as we've mentioned a few times, the reason that we're all here is because we all happen to have calendar books. Rick's story is one short story per month, and mine happens to be a book of love lessons, one per week for an entire year. The book is called 52 Love. And today's love lesson is about unplugging with your partner. And so I'm going to read a little bit from that. Disconnect to reconnect. We've all experienced those moments. You're sharing a beloved movie with your partner. The film approaches an exciting scene. In anticipation of your partner's reaction, you turn to watch his face. His eyes light up. His smile brightens. He chuckles, and it's all directed at his media feed. No one enjoys getting phubbed when someone ignores you for their phone, but when your partner does it, the injury cuts deeper. This week, unplug for some quality time together. Remove distracting phones, get cozy on the couch, and watch an uninterrupted movie. Phone-free movie time might be a challenge for some. We've conditioned ourselves to have a cell phone within reach, yet smartphone dependency has a negative impact on relationship satisfaction. Continual focus on your phone communicates that news apps, social media, and text messages are more important than your partner. Take a night to enjoy a movie together without the threat of interrupting pings, chimes, flashes, and buzzes. Treat it like a first date. If during your introduction to one another you kept one eye glued to your phone, there probably wouldn't have been a second date. Not being available to everyone sends the message that your attention is valuable. Show your partner his importance to you by denying the outside world access. Keep in mind, a cell phone's mere presence distracts your brain, even when it's silenced, even on airplane mode, even if it's powered off. When your phone is within reach, some of your cognitive energy is tethered to it. Sever that tie by removing the phone from the equation. Leave your cell in another room, far out of reach for temptation. Focus on the film, breaking only to share a look or a laugh. Phoneless fingers free your digits for hand-holding or sneaky snuggling strokes. And who knows, what starts with a phoneless movie night might develop into fully unplugged date nights. Enjoy dinner without checking your feeds. Finish a conversation without interruptive notifications. Revisit other 52 Love tips. Go for a walk, read together, complete a puzzle, all without phone distractions. In time, you may beat your nomophobia, improve your quality time, and make no phone date nights a rule rather than an exception. And I also have a few holidays that I would like to share with you. We do have plenty to celebrate this month. September 6th was National Read a Book Day, a chance for book lovers to get lost in a novel, maybe something that's been sitting on your TBR pile for a while, or something new you purchased from a local indie shop. If you're looking for suggestions, I recommend something from Richard May, Hadley Raydeen, or Christopher Hamilton. And September 8th is International Literacy Day, which is kind of related. It's a day meant to raise awareness of the literacy challenges that impact over 700 million adults and children around the world. That is a lot. If you want to help improve literacy in your community, you can volunteer at a school or library. You can donate old books to them, or even organize author visits to help foster a love of reading. And if you're looking for something fun to read, Batman Day and National Comic Book Day are also observed in September. Why not celebrate both by indulging in a Batman comic or graphic novel? Batman is the third Saturday of every September, and National Comic Book Day is September 25th. And since my September holidays revolve around reading, my prize for today's audience question is a family pack of 52 love bookmarks to help mark your spots for all these books and comics that you're going to read. Before I go, I'm going to remind everyone that we have a year-long competition going on for the person who engages the most with us during these events, posts in the chat, communicates with other participants. And that is a library of all of the authors, a book from all of the authors who have participated in our year-long Time with Love series. So, we're getting near the end of the year. There's already some people, who are favorites to win, but it's not too late. All you have to do is blow up the chat. So let me remind you to get your answers in there for today's competition. That's a great place to start.
You're going to get
phone time is great. We can focus. Right. Yeah.
That's funny.
With that, I will pass the mic to Hadley.
Hey, friends. Hey. So it's your girl, Hadley Raydeen, author of the Bachelor of the Month series, where each month brings even more heat. We're following our favorite reporter, Genesis Jones, who's been following us all year. Our fearless reporter. She navigates the world of New York City, the most powerful, complex, and dangerously sexy men. And for September, no different, of course. So we'll buckle up for Mr. September. This month, we're diving into the story of Sabian Locke. He's a criminal defense attorney who doesn't just enter a courtroom, he totally owns it. Mr. September rocks his tailored suits, confidence, and there's much more happening beneath the surface with him. He's caught in a whirlwind of Forrester family secrets, which we've been talking about all year. The legal battles are having unexpected feelings at this point, and now he is having the feels for his partner, Ariel Chapman. They bring the heat, facing scandals, family betrayals, chemistry that's hard to ignore. So I love this moment particularly because it shows how they can slow down for a chance of connection amid all the chaos, and Sabian and Ariel find a moment to breathe and enjoy a meal together. They're sharing some laughs, reminiscing, kind of digging into this case that they're working on. And it's a rare chance for intimacy, and it's showing that love isn't just about grand gestures, but it is those quiet moments that we cherish, kind of like Tonya was just talking about. So we're going to jump into the excerpt of Mr. September from the Bachelor of the Month series. So the door to my office opens quietly, and Ariel steps inside with 2 takeout bags. "Dinner's here," she said softly, setting the food on my desk. I quickly shut the door and returned to my side, trying to play it cool. She had no idea I had just been looking into what she and Genesis had been whispering about. "Thanks," I muttered, pushing the files aside to make room for the food. But my mind wasn't on the meal. It was still turning over everything Genesis had said, the whole thing. I should have seen it coming. There was too much happening behind the scenes, and now we're stuck piecing it all together. Ariel's brows furrow, but she didn't respond with her usual sharp retort. She watches me cautiously, as if sensing I wasn't saying everything. Maybe she was wondering if I noticed her and Genesis earlier. She had been too quiet since Genesis left. I take the bag from her hands and begin pulling out the food containers, using it as a distraction. I wasn't ready to let this go just yet. Something was off, and I needed to figure out what. I glanced up and noticed her eyes flick toward the files. The tension in the room is thick. There was something more between us tonight, something heavier than just the case. So I said casually, leaning back in my chair as I pulled the takeout closer, "You and Genesis seem to be getting along well." She blinked clearly, caught off guard by my change in conversation. Her hands freeze midair as she reaches for her food. "Yeah, I guess. We were just catching up about your article for Mr. September and the fact that we've known each other since foster care." "Right." I leaned forward slightly, my elbows on the desk. "Did any of that catching up relate to Forrester case?" Ariel hesitated, her eyes flickering as if weighing her next words. She knew I wouldn't let this drop easily, but was savvy enough to play her cards right. "Not really," she finally said, her voice measured. "But we're all on the same team here, right?" I said, narrowing my eyes. "Feels like I'm missing part of the conversation." I wasn't going to let her off the hook that easily. Her body language and hesitation indicated that there was more to what she was saying, or she wasn't saying. She lifted her chin, and defiance flashing in her eyes. "We weren't talking about anything you wouldn't eventually find out. Relax, Sabian. I know you love being in control, but sometimes even you don't get to know everything up front." I raised my eyebrows, leaning forward just enough to let her know I wasn't buying it. You're right. I do love being in control, especially when it comes to important things like, oh, I don't know, legal cases involving my clients. Her lips curve into a small smirk, and despite the tension, she gives me a sharp look. Well, the world doesn't revolve around you, Locke. Sometimes people have lives outside of your legal kingdom. I chuckle, unable to suppress the grin spreading across my face. She was skilled at pushing back, which only made me more intrigued. That's cute, Ariel, really. But let's be honest for a moment. What's going on here? You can trust me, you know? Her smirk wavered slightly, and I noticed her draw in a breath. She was trying to maintain her composure, but the air between us was thick with unspoken tension. We weren't discussing the case, she said, her voice quieter now. Not exactly, but there are complications, Sabian. I watched her closely, sensing this wasn't just about the professional side. Complications, I repeated, raising an eyebrow. What kind of complications? She met my gaze, her eyes locking with mine, the kind that don't fit neatly into boxes, okay? Some things are messy. I smile. Messy can be fun. Her cheeks flush, but she didn't back down. Depends on the kind of mess. And that was just a glimpse at Mr. September. So even amid scandal, secrets, and suspicions, Sabi and Ariel find time for each other. A simple dinner turns into a battleground of truths, trust, and tension, but also an opportunity to slow down, check in, and feel. And isn't that the whole point? So that brings me to my holidays and awareness for this month. Why September is such a vibe. We're celebrating Self-Care Awareness Month and National Feel the Love Day. And these two characters, both Sabian and Ariel, embody that, both of them. So for Self-Care Awareness Month, boundaries and bliss, baby. And if you can see on the image that Joe's putting up for us, you see the candle there. She does have boundaries and bliss on her candle. So let's clarify self-care isn't just about spa days and bubble baths, though we do enjoy those. We enjoy a good soak and scented candles. But self-care also includes putting your phone on Do Not Disturb. Tonya, I'm seeing a running theme with what you just said, and letting others wonder if you're upset. You're not, you're focused on hydrating and healing. That's what we're looking at. So choosing yourself without guilt, declining chaos, confusion, and anyone who raises your blood pressure with a firm not today. In Mr. September, even during a brewing crisis, Sabian and Ariel show that self-care can also mean grab and take out and having that difficult conversation anyway. It's about nourishing yourself while facing truth. It's checking in even when things get messy. So whether you're curled up with your favorite book, canceling an unwanted plan, or finally lighting that special occasion candle, this month is a permission slip to protect your peace as if it were your last nerve. And then also for National Feel the Love Day, which is no bare minimum allowed. So in September the 7th is National Feel the Love Day. And it isn't about late nights you up text from your significant other or mixed signal. This is about real active, intentional love, the kind that makes you feel seen, safe, and secure, not suspicious. It's the kind of love that doesn't play hide and seek with your emotions. So in Mr. September, even amidst tension, you can feel the love in every line. It's present in subtext, the banter, the silences. That's what love looks like. It may not always be loud, but it always resonates. So in cheering, let's be loud. If you're not receiving it, start with you first, and then embrace yourself, look in the mirror and say, I'm the main character, the soft place to land, the standard, and that's on period. So grab your copy of Mr. September. I am giving out for our contest that we're having today, one copy of Mr. September. And remember to pour yourself a drink, light a candle, and you deserve that tenderness and love. There you go.
Love that.
That is such great advice.
So, yeah. So we have our guest today. Next, I'm going to introduce Mr. Christopher.
Hadley, real fast before you introduce, will you remind everyone the contest so that we can have some amazing stories to choose from at the end?
Sure. Oh, okay. So the contest is to tell us if you've had a high school romance, and just quick liner in the chat, let us know. And then at the end, we'll all pick, one that we like, and then you'll get our gifts.
And even if it's not your story, maybe you didn't have a high school romance, you could tell us someone from your family or a friend that is an inspiring story. We'd love to celebrate that love.
Especially if it's embarrassing.
The more embarrassing, the better. All right. So our guest today is Christopher Hamilton. He is the author of Faith Shelter, It is a tale of lust, grace, and redemption. Chris, can you introduce yourself to us and let us know a little bit about you and your work?
Absolutely, I'd love to. Yeah, thanks for having me on. I'm Chris. I am a Christian fiction author, but the disclaimer I always throw out there right away, no matter where you are in your journey of faith, don't be intimidated. I write Christian fiction that's number one, an excellent story first. So that's always my goal, is to tell a tale that's going to be worth your time, worth your read. So that's kind of what I set out to do. And this is the book that I published this year. It actually launched just in time for Valentine's Day. Faith Shelter, A Tale of Love, Lust, Grace, and Redemption. It's the story of a young woman who wants to be a leader in her church. She's sort of new to the environment, though, so she has to kind of prove herself and work her way up through the ranks, so to speak. She meets a handsome stranger, and he's immediately head over heels for her. And he's kind of throwing a wrench in her carefully structured agenda. And things kind of take a left turn, and everything that she's been working for kind of goes away. And before she can really like get her feet under her, she meets another handsome stranger, a guy named Maverick, and he comes with a secret. So there's a little bit of intrigue going on. She has to kind of figure out where this new guy is, and she has to ultimately decide who's going to win her hand. So very cool story, I think. It was sort of a stretch for me because as an author, fantasy is usually my primary genre, but I wanted to challenge myself, and I wanted to tell a love story. So I really swung for the fences by number one, doing a romance novel at all, but also having a female main character. So I think I've done pretty well. I've had some pretty good reception, but I'd like for more people to pick it up and kind of work through the story and process, because as a Christian author, there's a little bit more behind the scenes. So if you have a background of faith, you're going to see some more layers to it. So that's kind of what I want to get across. And I don't want to jump ahead here, but I know that some of the holidays we have for September are Mental Health Awareness Month, and also World Gratitude Month, I believe it was, or World Gratitude Day. Somewhere there. Sorry, I lost my calendar.
Sounds like a good one, though.
Yeah, yep, I thought so too. Those are two of the big themes that you're going to find in Faith Shelter. Being able to um, protect your, like Hadley was saying, protect your boundaries, protect your peace, and protect your mental health, and also to find gratitude even in circumstances that seem less than desirable. So,
Could you read a little bit for us, Chris?
oh, yep, I would love to. Yep. This, I think, is my favorite chapter. I'm going to read a little bit about. This is the start of Act 2, so it's roughly the halfway point in the story. The main character, Viorica, has just been through something pretty traumatic, so this is how she's processing that. So this is chapter 11. Picture this: a winter's night in Florida, a collection of low buildings casting a pale glow out onto the downtown streets. Bars, taverns, and restaurants offering a haven for those wandering in the dark. In one of those dingy oases sits a young woman, beautiful and broken. She's among the faceless crowd of those searching for salvation at the bottom of a glass, a connection to the faintest trace of light in the dark. But it isn't salvation that the young woman is after. She's desperately searching for a distraction, one powerful enough to make her forget her grief and grievances. She looks down at the ink design on her forearm, a stylized letter Z with leaves and crawling ivy vines. The numbers 13 and 6 trail behind her, adorned in a similar style. Behind the letter, sorry, adorned in a similar style. Sighing, she lifts a tattooed arm off the table to smooth a strand of hair from her face before draining her glass. That hair, now cropped down to her shoulders and steadily growing, is pulled forward to hide the sorrow in her gray eyes. None of those lost, adrift souls deserve to hear of her pain. No one would really care if she shared it. If she tried to share, though, they would certainly be there. The men, rich power suits to ostentatious cowboy hats, would come running to put on the act. They would pretend, they would listen to just long enough to make her think they cared. The only thing they truly cared about was using her for the night, and she knew it. They always told on themselves, too. Either they would be distracted staring at her body, or they would let it slip that there was another woman in their life. It was hopeless trying to find someone who was genuinely concerned. But finding someone to pretend for a while, that was easy. Viorica had learned to live with that. A few moments of make believe, one after another, was all she needed to get through the night, then the weekend. Best of all, the attention didn't cost her a thing. She would take advantage of the regard as long as it was given, and once they told on themselves, she would move on to the next who thought the same tactic would work. All she had to do was sit and wait. They came to her buying drinks that she retrieved from the bartender herself, flashing smiles, somehow managing to accidentally let their designer watch slip out from under their sleeves, or the key fob to their luxury car would strangely tumble out of their pockets for her to see. Though it never physically cost her anything, life had taken its toll on her mentally. Every shallow conversation, every night wasted in vanity, every empty glass pushed her further out into the ocean of turmoil she was navigating, where waves of guilt broke over her again and again. Every day she spent not reaching God in prayer and instead filling her soul with every other distraction, she drifted further out into that sea of shame. But the tricky thing about the sea of shame, which kept her adrift in it for so long, was that there was always plenty of company. He walked through the door of the bar, and right away his sight fell on her. Their eyes met for a split second before she visibly turned aside to process. Tall? Check. Curly strands of brown hair? Check. Well dressed? Check. Well groomed facial hair? Check. He passed the preliminaries. Predictably, he was making a beeline towards her. She braced herself for another BS conversation where some pickup artist tried to take her home. Wow, I'm really glad I came here tonight, he said, throwing the first class smile her way. Good dental work. Check. What are you drinking, gorgeous? V sighed and named a drink at random. It was about time to stand and vacate the table anyway. You can pay, but I'll get it myself, she said. He swept a hand towards the bar, ushering her forward. And I think that's a good stopping point there. So thank you.
So, Chris, are you? I think you're giving a prize today too, aren't you?
Yes, I am actually giving a copy of Face Shelter to the contest winner, and may throw in some other gift bag goodie items too. So,
And Chris,
So let that be incentive for people to answer the question. Tell us about your high school loves.
absolutely, yeah, I want to hear it.
and then we also have an end of the year prize too, Chris, that we'll tell you about that we want you to be involved in as well.
Oh, I would love to. Yes,
Perfect. Yeah, we do that with all of our guests throughout the month. So we'll
have
tell you
some special ideas. Yes.
Oh no, not the fingers. So as I was saying earlier in my little segment there about our star reporter, Genesis Jones asks questions of our guest authors every month, and you're no exception. So we did let you know of some things that Genesis wanted to know more about your book. So each of us have a question that we wanted to go over with you. And my question has to do about self-care and awareness and emotional restoration, which I talked a little bit about during my time. And in your book, Faith Shelter, your characters experience deep emotional trauma, but they also found healing through love and grace. What did you personally discover about emotional restoration while writing your story?
Well, it was funny because for anybody I'm obviously a Christian, if you see there, but I believe that God does speak. And when I was writing, I came to a pivotal point in the book, and I felt God speak to me and say, "Be nice." Because the background with Faith Shelter, I wouldn't say a lot, but a good portion of it is based on personal lived experience, church hurt, religious trauma, that kind of thing. That all fed into it. And there were a couple different directions I could go, but ultimately I decided to not make it a slugfest, not make it, a trauma dump and just hitting on everything that, I'd went through and all that. And I'm really grateful I went that way because it really taught me that, you know, some things, even if they're significant, even if they're heavy, it's better for you to let it go. It's better for you to drop it. I mean, definitely set the boundaries. Don't, fall for the okie doke twice, but letting it go and moving forward and moving and healing is honestly 100% the best way. So I hope that kind of answers the question there for you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Genesis came up with a great question for me. Suicide prevention is
Mm,
a personal concern of mine because I have had, unfortunately, suicides in my family and
I'm sorry.
live with survivor's guilt and the questions of what could I have done. And also being a member of the queer community, there is a huge percentage of too many suicides in the trans community, especially and among young queer folk.
Absolutely.
So World Suicide Prevention Day is also in September.
Hmm.
And Genesis gave me this question to ask, which is great. Your book touches on inner battles many people don't talk about.
Hmm.
What messages of hope or redemption do you hope readers walk away with after reading Faith Shelter?
That is a good question. I would say, okay, so the scene I read, it goes on a little bit. You're introduced to another character, and they're chatting with the main character, and they sort of introduce their philosophy on life and death, and the world and all that. And one of the points he makes in there is that eventually, if you live long enough, you'll find something that you want to hold on to that you think really defines you, but you end up losing it. And that's like starting over is like it's almost like dying like while you're alive. But the one thing I would get across there, especially for people who see that portion of the book, life still goes on. Anything that you think is going to define you, anything that you think is going to, be a major portion of your life that you end up losing, even after that, there's still life worth living. So it's just a small, simple message, but I really hope it resonates with people because, like I said, I've been there. I've had losses and things that I thought were worth holding on to. That you know, life happens and it just takes another route. But it's always worth moving forward after beyond that. So
We in the queer community, we try to tell people it gets better
yes,
because
100%.
life has changed, and what people are going through now, it's not going to last forever.
That is very profound. I love that. Simply stated, perfect.
Yeah, I love that. So Genesis also came up with an excellent question for me to ask, and it actually ties into some of the stuff I write about in 52 Love. So September is, you're right, it's World Gratitude Day, and it ties into your book's spiritual themes.
Yes.
I have a tip that is about taking time to express gratitude with your partner, and I have another tip that is about praying with your partner.
Nice.
Two very vulnerable things, but
Absolutely.
they're important for a relationship.
Mhm.
So the question that she came up with is, how does gratitude and spiritual reflection play a role in your characters' journeys toward healing and love?
Mm, I like that. Um, there is there's another personality I listened to that he wrote a book and he talked about how gratitude is one of the most powerful forces when, especially when you reach a point where it's diminishing returns. You're starting to get the success. You're starting to get everything that you've wanted for, they wanted, you worked for, and it's just not. It's not registering. It's not igniting that spark for you. And I imagine it's like that in a lot of relationships too. Is you're together, the butterflies have kind of like diminished, and it's just kind of the day-to-day grind. But exercising gratitude to remind yourself of where you've been and what life was like before you met that person is the best way to capture that again. And I think that's kind of what I captured in my characters in the book because, um, we can get so busy trying to do all the things like all the checklists and trying to be in the positions and trying to advance your career and all that. But being able to just take the time and reflect on what's important and show gratitude for the things that you've already overcome. That's honestly, I would say more important than the high achievement and the success and all that. But
Hmm.
I mean, that's a debate topic, but you do see that within the characters is that step back to evaluate where you've been and what you've already been through. So
Yeah, take stock, right?
absolutely.
In my daily prayers, most of my prayers are thanks.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Mine always start with thanks. Like that's the first thing is
Yes.
thank you for yesterday. Thank you for all of the things that I have already been gifted.
Hmm.
You start with gratitude.
Absolutely. Yeah. I grew up in a religious family, but when I tried to really make it my own and like really develop faith for myself, that was just my simple prayers, just every day, every meal, even just thank you.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's nice. On the rare occasions when I can't sleep, I do an alphabetical gratitude list.
I
That
love that.
tricks your brain
Mhm.
into just focusing on this stuff and not any of the noise, right? That's
Absolutely.
brilliant.
Yeah. I might have to borrow that.
And we might all borrow it for a
We
story.
And Chris, thank you so much for sharing from your book, Face Shelter, A
Oh.
Tale of Lust, Grace, and Redemption. Can you let everyone know where they can keep in touch with you and stay abreast of your latest goings on?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's definitely been my pleasure to share. I'm always open for communication, always open to hear, especially from people who have experienced religious trauma and all that. The best hub to get in contact with me is going to be my website. I think we can drop the link there. I know it's on my flyer there, but I'll make sure I get that across so we can present
Joe will
that.
take care of it.
Yeah, awesome.
Joe Compton, host extraordinaire.
Yes. We couldn't do this without him.
Definitely not.
Like speaking of gratitude,
There it is.
I'm
Thank you.
grateful for my co-hosts. I'm grateful for you as a guest. Thank you for showing up prepared. And my goodness, thank you, Joe, for handling just all of the stuff so that we can just sit here and share our work.
Yes. Kudos for sure. Yeah. My website is going to have eventually, once I get that up the ground, my newsletter is going to be there. Links to the storefronts to buy all my work. I publish wide, so it's a little bit everywhere. So that's going to be the best place to find information. So
Perfect.
Well, today's contest. Should we go ahead and pick our winners?
Yes.
yes.
So the first one is from the Gail Paul 00. My brother is 8 years older than me. As a teenager, he was in a band. I thought the guitar player was positively dreamy. He appropriately only thought of me as Alan's little sister. Boo.
Well, that is a big age gap. So I think we're all glad that
Yes.
he wasn't interested at that
Especially
age.
at that age.
Yeah. So Marilyn Jackson, our high school, is that Air Force exchange student?
Oh,
I don't know
no.
what AFS.
American, what? I forget what that is. It's
I don't
an
know.
exchange student program.
Okay, so our high school AFS exchange student from Italy was, well, I'm not going to attempt to say this name, but it is beautiful though. Like
Beautiful name.
that's a character name. You're like, and then there's more. There's more.
More.
I was honored and excited to be asked to go with him to the spring prom. I would say so, yeah. Little did I know he was the cat's meow. Oh, it's so good that I read that one.
Now, I know Marilyn very well, and she is married to one of my high school friends, Harold, and I wonder if Harold knew about that story.
Oh
boy.
I love that name, though. I might use that as a character's name.
Right?
Yeah.
Joe, I'm going to read yours. So, entry 3 from our guy Joe. He went to one dance in his high school career, and at that dance, ran into a girl that he had a crush on for about 2 years, and she did the most unexpected thing ever. ... Cliffhanger. She asked me why. I never asked her out and said she would have said yes. Oh my. So I asked her to the dance, and she and I danced the night away. And I don't kiss and tell after that. Lesson I learned: always ask.
They can say yes or they can say no. It's like,
Yes.
if they say no, it's their loss.
Yep.
Well, I have
100%
to
of the
say,
shots
I definitely know my winner because the cat's meow spoke to me, and so did that name. Yes, Marilyn Jackson. Cheers to that.
Yeah, Carlo. I like
Hey,
that
Marilyn.
name. I think I'm going to go with that one. I like the name.
Yeah, Pier Carlo Luciano.
It is tough. It's a tough one, but I think the third one is actually going to win it for me. It's a huge life lesson.
Always ask, right?
That was a great story.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to pick the age difference story. So.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Yes, the teenage crush, right? Who hasn't thought someone in a band was dreamy?
I never have. I
Never.
I never have. No,
That's Spice Girls. Yeah.
I definitely
girl
have.
thing.
I
guess that is a girl thing because I have to. So.
Oh, okay. So we picked our winners.
We did.
And
thank you for everyone who responded.
Yes,
thank you for all those stories.
Thank you for those stories. They made us. Oh, we have a late entry.
Oh,
Let's see what they said.
Do we?
Suspense. It's suspense, folks.
That's right.
Hi.
Dun dun dun. This is how we keep our audience excited with Antissa.
Yeah.
I organized to go on a date with my classroom crush. She brought her friend, which I was cool with, but then someone in the screening of She's All That said I was so thin, I must be anorexic.
Oh, no.
Oh, that is a sad story.
Oh, meow, Spider Dan.
Spider Dan.
Oh, Spider Dan, I hope you
so
recovered
mean.
from that and went on to success and love.
Mm-hmm.
So but She's All That just took me back to the 90s. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That is, yeah.
Like I was in high school.
I won't tell you where I was in the 90s. But we want to thank everybody who participated in today's contest.
Mm-hmm.
And by being with us today, you're participating in the end of the year contest, which is Win a Romance Library. Yes. Thank you, Gail Paul 00. Grateful for this opportunity every month. We're grateful for this opportunity too. Yes. And we don't like to think about our year ending. So who knows? We might just do this forever. Hadley faints. But thank you to Chris for coming, Chris Hamilton for coming and sharing his thoughts and his reading and his ideas with us. And I stole Tonya's
the end of the year about the book, The Library. So that's what you'll participate in us with.
Okay, excellent. Yes. Yeah, we
can definitely pay attention.
Like, oh, okay.
It may not go on forever, but of course we'll be here next month, and we'll be here on Sunday, October the 12th. Same time, same bat channel. There's
meow.
Call out for
Batman Day.
Yeah, Batman Day. October 12th, we'll be here again at the same time. Our guest next month is going to be Lisa Rain.
Yes, love her.
Cool. Yeah, I will look forward to tuning in. And again, thank you so much for having me. This has been amazing.
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah.
Thank you.